The Meeples and Miniatures podcast is sponsored by Two Fat Lardies, Miniature War Games with Battle Games magazine, and by the generous donations of you, the listener. Thanks again so much for your donations. It's the eve of New Year's Eve. I'm Neil Shuck, and this is episode 162 of the Meeples and Miniatures podcast. Cue music. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Meeples and Miniatures podcast. I'm Neil Shuck, and once again I am joined by my partners in crime. First off, from the hills of Wales, the follically challenged Welsh Wookiee himself, Mr. Michael Hobbs.
You utter... sorry. Hi there, chaps. How's it all going?
You see, I was following the Twitter feed on that one.
Damn it.
And from the east, east of here anyway, from the wilds of the east, otherwise known as Peterborough, Mr. Mike Whitaker.
Good evening.
Hello, and welcome to our review of 2015. Just as a pre-warning, right at the start, because it's like New Year's Eve, I must admit, I don't particularly fancy doing an awful lot of podcast editing. So essentially, we won't. So this is, as in with episode 150, this is going out pretty much live. So at some point, you just know Mr. Hobbs is going to say arse biscuits.
I was going to say, can I just run through a few words and just see which ones I can say and which ones I can't?
Maybe not. Okay, so for
Age
those
of Sigmar.
Age of off now. Yes.
Roughing the listener. 15-yard penalty.
Personally, I think ground bases are so in this year.
Age of Sigmar, the thing that will get you ejected from a game, even if Odell Beckham can't get ejected any other way. Yes. Oh, by the way, Ref, I also play Age of Sigmar.
Be gone from here.
Yeah. Apologies to the non-American football fans who will just don't understand that reference whatsoever. Don't worry. Anyway, hello, folks, and welcome to our review of 2015. It's the last show of the year, and strangely enough, it's also our 24th show. Well, I suppose it's the last show of the year or the first show of the year, depending on when you're listening to this. But it's also our 24th episode. Hey guys, you've managed to actually do one show every 2 weeks.
Almost.
Yeah,
It would have been 26 if we'd done one show every 2 weeks.
Oh, there might have been 20.
And we could have got the Sales of Glory show in.
Hang on a second. Hang on. How many
There are
months?
52 weeks in the year. 52 divided by 2 is 26.
Yeah, but we do 2 shows a month.
He does kind of have
If you wanted to do 2 shows a month, that's not the same as 2 shows every week. Just saying.
Oh, you want to do 2 shows every week now? Oh, okay.
So, a show every 2 weeks is not the same as 2 shows. As 2 shows every month.
Yeah. At this point, listener, are you really regretting?
What Mike and Neil have?
What's the phrase? Passing quickly on. Anyway, here we are. Episode 162. Yeah,
it's been a year.
It's been a year. Indeed, it has.
Yeah.
So, as we've done before, we're going to look back at 2015. We're going to give a list of our top 5 games of 2015. We're going to be highlighting some of our favourite gaming experiences from the year. And we're going to be looking forward to 2016 and, what we're hoping to do and what have you. So, lots to get in and lots of chat about 2015 and various other bits and pieces. And here's a promise, no Star Wars spoilers.
Not even one.
Not even one. I mean...
Come on, let's just do one.
Just do one. Let's just do one. Yes, that was Mike on the red carpet.
Although you'd have had trouble seeing me in among the really quite a lot of other people. Apparently there were 2 million entries to the O2 competition. They had, I think, every screen in the View, the Empire and the Odeon in Leicester Square taken up.
Wow.
It was pretty awesome, actually.
And here was me thinking a film premiere just took place on one screen.
Worth it for the experience, though, very definitely, even if I did it on crutches.
Yes, that was one thing I did happen to notice in the photos. Yes, it was apparent that Mike was, on crutches at the time. Which is
on a crutch, anyway.
A crutch, indeed. Yes.
Was that just so you get a better seat?
No, it's because I trapped a nerve in my hip and it bloody hurt.
Is it better now?
It's much improved.
Good.
Excellent stuff.
Thank you for us.
So, no Star Wars spoilers in this show. Yeah, we had a chat beforehand and we decided that he really wasn't fair, just in case somebody hasn't seen it yet. So there we go. Well, I think we'll crack on. Because...
I was really surprised when Vader came back.
Well, especially with Jar Jar Binks is now a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Never saw that one coming.
Dearie me, indeed.
Don't knock it. There is a fan theory out there that Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord.
Yes, I've seen the pictures. Yes. Yes, he has yellow eyes. Therefore, that must mean yes.
Please now.
Look, just because you've been forced to sit through the first 3 films over Christmas, there's no need to take it out on us.
No, God bless my wife. She's wonderful.
My son did it voluntarily, so what can I say? In an all-weekend marathon.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, quite.
Let's crack on.
Let's crack on, shall we? Yes, enough frivolity about Star Wars and other such things, because that's not what you've tuned in to hear. Or maybe it is, but
we did promise.
We did promise what? Oh, to talk about Star Wars.
At least a brief recap of what I got up to at the red carpet premiere, but we've done that, so moving on.
Well, a very brief recap. I came, I sat in the seat, I watched the film, I went home again.
I had a goodie bag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, proper goodie bag.
I had my photo taken with R2-D2, C-3PO and some stormtroopers.
Yeah.
You could have at least got Harrison Ford or somebody. Anyway, passing quickly.
The wife was trying.
I couldn't believe it. So here we are. Yes. So we're going. So yes, it's our look back at 2015, and here we are. So I think what we'll do, shall we start by discussing our favourite games of 2015? Shall we? You think that's a good place to start, guys?
It's usually the way. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So we'll go from we'll go from 5 upwards. Now the thing is, I have all the lists, and I don't think Mike you've seen each other's, have you? And you've not seen mine.
No.
Okay. So right, in that case, then we'll yes, I'll drive. Okay. So I think what we'll do, we'll start with Mr. Whitaker, then we'll go to Mr. Hobbs, then we'll come to myself for each one of these. Okay. And interestingly enough, we all have unique number 5s.
Ooh.
We do.
Ooh, indeed. So, number 5 from Mr. Whitaker
is a fairly obscure little American Civil War rule set called On to Richmond. And I bet you nobody was expecting that.
No.
Well, I must admit, I wasn't. I mean, I didn't even know you played ACW.
We had a couple of games down the club back in October, courtesy of Carlo and Joey, who brought along a very nice set of 15mm American Civil Wars and this set of rules. Now, they apparently date back quite a way to a set that were published in a War Games magazine in the States called The Courier. Written... Yeah, that is going back a way. Written by a chap by the name of Paul Koch. They have been picked up by Mark Severin of Scale Creep Miniatures recently and republished. And they're available as a PDF or as a print copy. Very nice production values. They are a little bit ahead of their time in that they have card-based activation, although it's very much bolt-action card-based activation in that there is a card for every division, and you just draw to determine what order things go in. There's quite a nice little system of something akin to shock for, if you like, debilitating units. Your fire and your melee can do either shock or kill. It's really very fast-moving. It's element-based. And thus pretty much scale independent. Your elements are 2 inches wide. A unit is 4 to 6 elements or more, depending. So you can populate that 2 inch with 415mm figures or 36 mils or whatever. It's short. It's very quick to learn. The bit that shows it up a bit as being of its time is although to be fair, I ain't been shot. Mum has the same. There is a fairly big combat results table in a couple of places, but it's not actually. It's very quick to learn, and it gave a very, very good game inside a club evening, and I won, which never happens.
Cool,
huzzah!
But I'll make sure a link to the rules gets in the show notes. They're free. They're a $20 download or $30 for the printed set. Very nice typesetting, very easy to read. Lots of nice pictures, lots of nice diagrams, and I really enjoyed it.
Cool. Right. Okay. Yes. I think because I'm publishing this pretty much straight away, what I'll do is I will get some show notes out. I'll get some show notes out. And I'll publish on the blog probably a couple of days later.
For me.
Okay. So they'll be appearing early January with basically a list of all our games and links to where you can get them from various other bits and pieces like that. Okay. So we'll do it that way round. Right, okay, so that's number 5 from Mike Whitaker. Number 5 from Mr. Hobbs.
Yeah, he was a Normandy.
He was a Normandy.
Yeah, which it's a board game, it's a World War II game, and it's fun. And I've gone a bit ballistic on it, and I bought pretty much everything, which I understand is the way with board games.
It's one of these things of catching on quick. All right, so having missed the original Kickstarter, when you did Shadows of the Normandy, you decided, okay, well, I'll just go the whole hog.
Yeah, so I did Shadows of Normandy, and I've just done the latest one as well, which they've put in a few nice features and things. It's a good little game. I kind of like it. It's a bit of a Marmite game. I think there's a lot of people don't like it. I kind of get it. It sort of works for me. Mm-hmm. And, proper tactics do work in the game, and it's still fun, and it's expanding massively. I mean, the Shadows of Normandy is great for Cthulhu-esque styly things with magic and beasties and stuff. And on the latest Kickstarter, they've added in like a leveling system, so you can level up your heroes and give them extra abilities, which brings in a sort of RPG lights feel to a campaign. So they're playing around with the format, and it's good. And I just like it. I just enjoy playing it.
Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my number 5 is To the Strongest. Ancient Rules from Simon Miller. One of the only ancient games I've actually played this year, which is quite scary. But, it's a good, fast-play game. I understand what some people say. I mean, I know some people have been saying it's a little bit light on kind of unit detail. Ish. Well, some people, I think specifically Mervyn said that. I kind of know where he's coming from, but at the same time, I think it's one of these things of it's a game that's written in a particular way, and if you play it in a particular way, it's a fast-play set of Ancients rules. If you play it like a fast-play set of Ancients rules, then it works better than if you play it like a heavy set of Ancients rules. It's one of these things of actually, I think it plays better if you play it quicker.
Yeah, it does. Well, you look at the game at Peterborough, that massive great table, stuffed full of Alcidian stuff, and they played it twice.
Yes.
And that never happens in a massive great ancient game. You go to some events and you'll see the same people around the table all day and nothing will move. And they got 2 games in on a 20 foot long table, Mike.
16 by 8, 16 by 6, I think.
Yeah.
I think the phrase is, it does what it says on the tin. I think it may be a case of don't expect more out of it than what it's advertising. It's designed for fast play multiplayer games, and within that, everything works really well. And the mechanics are simplified and cut down a bit for that very reason.
I'd also say that the fact that James Morris and Scrivs picked it up for show games is a very, very good advert, because they do enough show games, they know their stuff.
Yeah.
Indeed, yes. So certainly, if you want easy pickup, fast play, Ancients game, it's still got bags of flavour and what have you, stupid things. The fact that you don't, because it's all grids and stuff, you just move, you don't measure, and all that sort of thing. It massively speeds up the game. Yeah, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. I don't think it will surpass Sword and Spear for me as my number one Ancients game, but it's something that's a bit different. And so, especially multiplayer games, I think it's a really good game.
I must admit, it almost got into my top 5, and it was just the fact that the games I've played have been sort of War of the Roses ones put on by my mate, and I've only played about 3 or 4 games of it this year. That's the only reason it didn't get in, because the games that have got in, I've played more of, if that makes sense. But
very much so, yeah.
Very good, strong set of rules.
Okay, so that's our number 5s. So, number 4. Mr. Whitaker, number 4. Oh, this is a bit of a surprise.
Really? I'm doing well here for surprising you then. Yeah, Black Powder. Now, there is a kind of a reason for this, that anybody who's following my blog and Twitter feed should remember that the club's done a massive 100 days Black Powder campaign over the course of the early part of the year. Yes. Courtesy of Gary Martin from our club, who possesses more 28mm Napoleonics than any one man should reasonably possess, and his collection is just ridiculous. But I think one of the problems I've always had with Black Powder is I haven't played it often enough for it to stick in my memory.
Right.
And I always spend the first half an hour of a Black Powder game remembering the mechanics. Having basically now played it monthly for most of the early part of this year, I've now actually got to the point where I can forget about the rules and get on with playing the game. And I really like it. It's great fun. It's actually remarkably quick to play. There is no way you can get that many toys on the table for a Napoleonic battle with quite a lot of the other sets of rules and have that same sort of huge sweep of sort of grandiose Napoleonic what's it that you expect out of a Napoleonic battle. Just okay, seen the light, realised how good it is. Go Warlord.
Okay, number 4 from Mr. Hobbs.
Down from last year's number 1, I'm afraid. Sorry, Carl. It's Open Combat, which again I've been playing this year. A lot in the early part of the year.
I know what's happened. It's been usurped, hasn't it?
No, not usurped. It's just it's a time thing. But it's still a good game. It's still, it's got lots to it. I've done a bit of play testing for Carl as well for some of the new stuff he's looking at doing, and having just enormous fun with it. And I do like the fact that you can just pick up a handful of figures, give them personality, and play a game. And it's just I just love the whole feeling. Where you can have a character who's a small child with a stick and give him some abilities to mess up the opponents. And it's not all about combat. It's about using the other abilities and just crafting your own little sect from the figures you own. It's a great little system, and Carl's poured his heart into it, and it's a worthy game.
Yes, I mean, obviously we're looking forward to seeing the new book come out imminently. There's been he's had a few issues as far as things like his printer going bust and various other bits and pieces. So having to find new printers and what have you. So, but it should be coming out early part of the new year. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, and he's found himself a local printer as well. So he's building up a good reputation. No, sorry, he's building up a good repartee with that printer now, ready for the next books he's going to publish, which is good. So it's all good.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so that's your number 4. My number 4. Ooh, blast from the past. This one, Red Sand, Blue Sky. People remember that? Okay, this is a set of Gladiator rules. From 2-hour war games, actually. We've been playing and trying to get into Jugular. Okay, we were playing a bit of Jugular, trying to get into Jugular. To be honest, it just wasn't quite scratching the itch. And Dave's got a nice collection of the painted Crusader gladiators. And we quite like playing gladiator games on the odd occasion. Makes a nice break. And to be honest, Jugular just wasn't quite doing it for us. So we went back to Red Sand, Blue Sky. I mean, the thing we like about it is the fact that, despite the fact that it's just one-on-one combat, the game is so descriptive and, for want of a better phrase, actually quite visceral in how the game plays out. What is effectively a combat that will take 30-40 seconds in real time takes place over the space of an hour or so. But it's so descriptive in the way that the moves work, and it's got a really good set of mechanics with it as well. That it's still by far our favourite Gladiator game. And we've played it several times this year. Really enjoyed it. So that's why it came on my top 5. It was we've had a really good time with it. We had a couple of really good laughs, and actually seeing the movie of the game playing out as you're doing it as well. It just works really, really well. So massively impressed with it. Red Sand, Blue Sky.
Never played it, must admit.
Me neither.
No.
I shall clearly have a look it out.
Okay, there's a new version of it available because 2-hour war games also released a chariot racing game called Charioteer. Okay, and what they actually did last year, I forget who produced it. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking Lock and Load Publishing, but it may not be right. Okay, but basically, they released a board game version of these two together called Heroes of the Colosseum. Okay, so you can get a board game version of these two games, which is Red Sand, Blue Sky and Charioteer, as, say, an all-in-one board game, including counters and various other bits and pieces. So that might be worth checking out if you haven't heard of this. But other than that, Red Sand, Blue Sky, it's available as a PDF document or as a fully printed set of rules. But yeah, well worth a look. Okay, so we'll go back to Mr. Whitaker, and Mr. Whitaker's number 3 is featured higher on somebody else's list.
There's a surprise.
There's a surprise indeed.
Moving on.
So we'll come back to that. Ooh, and here's another shocker. Mr. Hobbs is the only person with this game on his list at number 3.
Really?
Really?
Wow. Sword and Spear.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, been playing this a lot. Lots and lots of the fantasy version with the playtesting, but also been playing with the historical game. I just love it. I just like the mechanics of it. We've spoken about it 100 times, so I won't bore the listener. The new version that's come out now is much cleaner and prettier.
It is very nice.
Yeah.
It is very nice.
There's a few little typos in there, but it's just a good game, and I just love it. In fact, I'm playing it on Saturday.
Superb. The only reason it's not in my list is that, as Mark pointed out when he was on the show a few weeks ago, I haven't actually had much chance to play it this year. Yes, my
same here.
Yeah, my my regular opponent has become a bit target fixated on another game, and as such, it has meant that playing other games has become a bit of a challenge because you're going to go, no, I want to play this. So it would have been on my list if I'd have had a chance to play it this year, but no. So it's on my list of stuff to get back out to the table next year because it is a brilliant set of rules, and it's still my favourite set of Ancients rules.
Yeah, good game. Good game,
indeed. Right. Okay, so number 3 for me, a board game, The Great War.
Ooh.
Okay, which is the latest Command and Colours game. This time from Plastic Soldier Company, First World War version of Memoir 44, for want of a better description for those of you who may not know what it is. But yeah, it's First World War Command and Colours with lots of little tweaks and little extra mechanics to give it that World War One feel. It's very good. It's quite simply. It's lots of flavour, very attritional, strangely enough. But yeah, it works really, really well. I was quite surprised. I don't think I was expecting it to work as well as it did. But
you sort of half expect it to be Memoir 44 with trenches, don't you?
You do, and to a certain extent, it is. However, I think the one of the biggest things is with it is that it operates at a different level to Memoir. It's very much a tactical. It's very much more a kind of. I suppose Memoir is quite, or to my way of thinking, is quite a high level. It's quite a high level game. It's kind of. Company, almost brigade level in some ways, it seems. Whereas Great War very much seems to be a platoon level game and plays as such. But there are a lot of extra mechanics in there which make it very different. The use of an extra set of tactics cards, for example, extra set of resources. The game of all the Command and Colours series, the game it reminds me most of actually is the original Battle Law, because it uses similar sort of mechanics with a separate card deck, with a separate set of resources that you can use to enhance various units and have various effects. So that's kind of what I find closer. And to be honest, Battle Law is still one of my favourites of the Command and Colours series, and that's the original Battle Law, not the second edition. I'm really, really impressed with it. It works really well, and very, very happy with it. Very, very happy with it indeed. So yeah, Great War. Played several games with it this year. Really enjoying it. Looking forward to tanks. See what that adds to the game. Go from there. Good stuff. Right.
Number 2. It's getting exciting now.
It is getting exciting. And number 2, again, a game that perhaps surprisingly doesn't feature on anybody else's list.
Really?
Mr. Whitaker.
Gosh.
Really?
Well, Halo Fleet Battles.
Well, hey.
Silence. Yeah. No, AD...
Is that Halo's worth of silence?
Yeah, probably, yes.
Not quite.
Not quite. AD Demo Club's been running demo games of this, and I've really enjoyed it. It's fast, it's easy to play, it feels right, quick to learn, does what he says on the tin. I mean, you guys reviewed it, have probably played it more thoroughly than I have.
Yeah. So it's a very good game.
I really enjoyed it. It's just one of those. It's one of the 2 spaceship combat games I played played this year, and to be honest, part of my criteria for this top 5 is I was trying hard not to duplicate genres, otherwise they might have both made it in.
What was the other one?
Full Thrust. Really enjoyed it. I mean, we've reviewed it. Go back and listen to the review.
Yeah.
It's easy to get into. The ships are incredibly pretty. The sides are noticeably different but balanced, and it plain and flat out seems to work, and it seems to do what I think Microsoft probably wanted it to do for a Halo Space Combat game. And go for it. It's great fun.
It's been very well supported. I mean, the only reason it's not on my list is simply the fact I just haven't got it to the table that much. And I was just looking around, kind of going, well, I haven't played that as much as this. I haven't played that as much as this. I haven't played that as much as this, and so it's in my kind of honourable mentions list, really. But no, it is superbly pretty, and Spartan have been doing a fantastic job in supporting it.
Yeah, they have.
No, the one thing that really impressed me with Spartan is on this is that they have very much listened to their player base, and even when they ended up in a situation where they released a box set which had specific character cards and specific formation cards in it, and then everybody kind of went, but the basic spaceships, and everybody kind of went, hang on a minute. They then turned around and then boxed all the cards up separately, and then sell them as a separate add-on, if you like. I thought just from PR, that was a really good move. And
never hurts to listen, does it?
No, and they've just supported the game really well. So I've been very impressed with Halo.
Yeah, it's a good game. I mean, like you, Neil, Halo is in my honourable mentions, and that's simply because I've been demoing it all the time, but not actually playing the thing, which is irritating because I really like the game.
But
so there you have it. Halo Fleet Battles.
Halo Fleet Battles number 2. Right, Mr. Hobbs, number 2.
Number 2, it's Otherworld Fantasy Skirmish, which will probably be there's been no surprise to anybody who knows me over the last 6 months, I guess. It's the game I've been playing the most, other than my number 1 game. I just love it. I just love the whole vibe of it. And it's the only thing that's a real pain is that they sell Otherworld at Firestorm, and Annie, who I tend to play a lot against, sells it as well. And I just end up playing the game against, there's about 5 or 6 of us now who play it on the club, and I'll just finish a game and then just walk over to the sort of rack of blisters and go, ooh, what's that? Oh, that'd be good. Ooh, and so just constantly buying bits and bobs for it, and I just love it. I love the whole idea of it.
And this is potentially the other reason why Open Combat has just slipped down the rankings just a tad.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. Oh.
Which is a shame because they're different games, different style of game. I mean, Open Combat, isn't even a bespoke fantasy game. But I just love Otherworld. I love the way you can play around with how you put your factions together. It's really open. The rules are great. It's based on a good old-fashioned 7TV mechanic, which is a really good game system, and it just works. Fantastic game.
Cool, good stuff. So, yes, well, my number 2 is higher on somebody else's list. So we'll come back to that. Oh, I wonder whose list that could be.
I bet it's not mine.
I bet it is.
Possibly.
Because I'm pretty sure I know what both your number 1 games are.
Go on then.
Well, no. Let's not spoil it. Okay, Mr. Whitaker, your number 1 game, which I must admit was a little bit of a surprise.
Really?
Although maybe not.
No. Shouldn't have been a surprise at all. It's Sales of Glory.
Which is coming to a review show fairly soon.
Soon, honestly, it is.
Soonish. Yes,
soonish. Like
Next
it's been
show.
Coming for most of the last quarter of the year. Yep, Sails of Glory. Basically, Napoleonic ship-based combat. It's been pretty much the club's go-to participation game for the last 6 months.
Wings of War at Sea.
Wings of War at Sea is a fairly accurate summary, with the brilliant advantage, much like Rings of War, that you don't have to paint a damn thing. Which, given the state of my eyes for the last 6 months, has been wonderful. And it's all also easy to pick up, easy to teach, difficult to get right, which is what you really want in a game because it keeps people playing it. It does actually have a set of mechanics which reasonably accurately reflect how sailing works in the real world. There's some very clever little twists in the mechanics which when they eventually dawn on you, think, oh yes. Typically it's, oh yes, I see why those phases happen in that order. If you play the advanced rules, it's not an entirely simple game, but it is fairly easy to pick up. It's like as I said, like any good game, it's easy to play and hard to play well, and good fun. And not really much more I can say than that. It's a really good pick up, hour and a half or more if you've got more ships and more people involved. Club night, Napoleonic sail war game, and they're really nice models as well.
And I will look forward to the review, which will be coming up on the 15th of January.
See, there you go.
Yes. I do seem to remember from a couple of pictures on your blog that you do have just the odd ship or two.
About 25.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
I had an accident on eBay with somebody's discarded collection.
How many do you need in a normal game? 2, 3?
4 or 5, 6. Depends on how many players you've got.
Yeah, well, I can't say anything. I've got 27 judges and you need 1 or 2 for a game. That's Judge Dredd, by the way.
Yes. Right, so Sails of Glory coming to a review show near you very soon.
Yes. It's the next one. It's on the spreadsheet.
Yes, Mike. Yes, herding cats. That's all I'll say. Herding cats. Indeed. Right, okay, so number 1 on Mr. Hobbs' list, which happens to be my number 2, is...
Planetfall.
I guess wrong.
Yeah. We've all got different number 1s again. Planetfall. It's the game I played consistently throughout the year, from when we had that trip over to Spartan back in February.
February. Well, that's a long time. It seems like a long time ago. February, and yes, when we played that marvellous game of Planetfall, and remind me who won.
I came second. I can't remember who came first.
You came second. Neil came next to last.
Yeah.
Hey, believe me, it's one of my only wins of the year. I'm claiming it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great game. It's got better and better throughout the year as they've released more helixes for the game. You know,
I can't keep up.
No, I'm getting to that stage now. And it started off, you literally had to take everything that they produced to do any sort of army. And you thought, oh, okay, this is going to be a bit samey. But then, as they release more and more stuff, just putting your army together, it becomes, there's so many different ways you can put your armies together, so many different things you can do in the game. It does need more scenarios. It's the only thing that's missing from it is scenarios.
Yeah.
But the models are fantastic. The quality of resin, it's Spartan, is fantastic. The gameplay is really deep and tactical, and it's bloody as hell. It really is.
Yeah, it's the phrase. Yes, the phrase "fast play" applies. Basically, because everything dies.
Everything dies very quickly.
Yes.
As I think we commented either on when I played it down the club or on our review, start out with 2 starter boxes because you're going to need that much scenery to avoid a bloodbath.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's just a great game, and it's a nice, and the way they tied it in with Faust and Armada as well is really interesting. And there's lots going on, and it's fantastic game. Love it.
Yeah, no, it is really, really good. Again, despite the fact that only got into the table a couple of times, it is such a good game. I've been wanting to get into a big battle sci-fi game for a long time, and things like Drop Zone just didn't quite do it for me. It's a nice set of rules, but it just didn't quite do it. I kind of we were looking at things like because we were playing. Remember Commander Horizon? Horizon before Bacchus sold it. Enough said. But since then, I've been looking around for a new set of rules, and this just does everything right. And it's especially now, when you've got like 6 or 7 helix for every faction, and especially when you kind of think, well, actually, to play a decent game, you only really need a really good game. You only need 3 or 4. So the amount of force choice available. And differences, and playing things off one against the other. It's really, really good game. Then, as you say, scenarios.
As a game, I really like it, and it nearly rated non-honorable mention. My problem, and it's purely a personal thing, is that I just don't buy into the setting. It's not me.
Yeah,
and it's very, very heavily setting dependent. The fluff is the game.
Yeah.
Every army is completely different based on its fluff, pretty much. And if you're okay with that, if you're okay with massively different armies, it's the complete antithesis of Germany against America or Germany against England in Normandy. In that everybody pretty much has the same weapons and just uses them technically differently. It's just this huge disparity between what each force can do. And that just doesn't do it for me, but that's just a personal thing.
I kind of get that, though. I quite like that. I like the fact that each army plays out differently. And within each army as well, you've got, because of the helix structure, you've got different ways of building your army. And so you can tweak some of that base mechanics and some of the base ideals of each army a little bit, but each army does play very, very independently, very differently, and it's horses for courses.
It is.
It's something I kind of get, and I quite like it.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not a huge fan of a couple of the factions. But at the moment we're playing Humans versus Dindrenzi, which, as far as the factions go, are as close to, they're as I suppose close to each other as two factions get, to a greater or lesser extent. Yes, they are different in technology and various other bits and pieces, and they work differently. But you're playing spiders or what have you. I think they complement as two forces. They complement each other very well, and But I kind of get where you're coming from, Mike.
It always worries me with that kind of system because it's very easy in that kind of system compared to something where factions are close together to cock up the balance.
Yes.
Yeah, it is, and
credit to Spartan for not having done it.
Well, they've been very clever because all of the army lists literally get re-released every month. So what might be a stat for a particular vehicle 1 month, you might find just subtly changing next month when they redo it.
Yeah, it's quite obvious that they're getting a lot of feedback in the background.
Yeah,
especially when they release new stuff, and they get a lot of feedback from ongoing playtesting, shall we say, of various factions. So they are still tweaking bits and pieces. So it's I suppose that's one of the advantages of releasing the game the way they have.
Yeah, exactly, because core mechanics are pretty much set in, and then you've just got the army lists which will change and they will evolve, and as they add new factions in, they'll tweak the settings, and that sort of continual balance, it does work. And it's quite a brave move. It's
particularly not since they appear to be doing it without robbing you blind every time they release an update, unlike some game systems I could mention. but won't.
Thank goodness for that. Indeed. Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. So, great game.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So, my number one, which will be absolutely no surprise to anybody.
Least of all me, because it was my number 3.
It is indeed. It is your number 3.
It's Chain of Command, isn't it? It's always Chain of
Yes. It's Chain of Command. I've played this game 4 or 5 times more than any other game I've played this year.
Mm.
And I think
still haven't won the game, though, have you? Just twisting that knife a little bit. As Dave's not here to defend his corner.
Well, yes, but isn't that a testament to the fact that it's a blooming good set of rules? And if Neil's played Dave that many times and lost that many times and hasn't killed Dave or thrown the rules away, there must be something they're doing right.
Yeah. It's a great set of rules. It is a fantastic set of rules. Rather interestingly, I was picked up a tweet today. Annie Bunny Invictus. Hello, sir. Oh, yeah. He tweeted today about his year of gaming and the fact that and on his blog he mentioned the fact that yes, we've only played Chain of Command again this year, and it's for the 3rd year running it's the only game they played. I think if Dave had his way, it would be the only game that we played because as far as he's concerned, it is by far and away the best game around, full stop. I
think he's probably right. I just... Because
even Rich Jones has started playing it, and he was quite scathing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is brilliant. I mean, the only reason I would complain about playing it every week was the fact that actually I do like a bit more. I do like the odd bit of variety every now and again, just play something different. But having said that, I mean, as I say, our plans for next year is going to be pretty much wall-to-wall Chain of Command for a lot of the year.
Yeah, but you just change the campaign, because I'm not being funny. You can do it with a fairly small amount of figures, and if you do something like Spanish Civil War or very early war, or maybe Barbarossa or something, just change the campaign, you're going to get a completely different game. Because you've got to use different tactics.
Yes, it is, and I know. I mean, I think this is probably the 3rd year running. This has been one. Is it the 3rd? I must admit, I'm forgetting whether Sword and Spear actually beat Istanbul 1 last year. I can't remember whether it did or not. I don't think it did. I think, but it's definitely the 3rd year that this has either been my number 1 or my number 2. It is and we've talked so much about it, but it is an absolutely fantastic game. It ticks all the boxes, works every time, and I mean, you've seen from the updates, all the amount of work that we put in this year to putting tables together and painting, and stuff like that. And I mean, I have to publicly acknowledge Mr. Hobbs and say thank you to Mr. Hobbs for lending me his Germans this year. Without which I wouldn't have been able to play, and I can say now that Mike, I can actually give you them back.
Yay!
Yeah, you can have them back now. But actually, you don't really need them anymore because you're going 20 mil, aren't you? But
I'm going 20 mil and 28 mil.
15 to say 2015, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Chain of Command. It's done everything and more than that we wanted from a war game this year. Tremendous stuff. And I mean, Rich is even threatening to do zombies.
Rumour has it they were in the Christmas special.
They're in the Christmas special. I'm blaming you, Mr. Whitaker.
I think this is their Arctic Gamers Day.
What?
Well,
the everything's better with zombies theory.
Well,
you kind of have a point.
No, he doesn't. No, I'm sorry. I have to put my hand up and say, I think. I was about to say zombies have been done to death, but you know what I mean.
I almost spat my coffee.
So we get to replay the dead zombie scenario with Chain of Command. You're saying?
This is why I'm blaming you.
Right. Okay.
It's all your fault. Dead zombie Chain of Command. Yes.
It's got to be done, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not averse to alternate World War II. I mean, I own everything for Incursion, for example. Anyway. I think I just put that one to bed because I think I'm just digging a hole for myself. It's all right. Yep. I've just had it a little bit with zombies at the moment. But Chain of Command, yeah, brilliant. And to say, if you happen to like zombies, Christmas special is coming out with zombie rules. Although apparently they're a bit different. But there you go. But no, brilliant game, absolutely fantastic game. And we have. I've got. I'm pretty sure I think we can spend the next 3 years. With scenarios from and never get out of Normandy easily over the next 3 years because I've got scenarios for the American for Brits for the American side and
never get out of Normandy. You never get more than 5 miles from Ken.
Well, that's it. You see, I mean, that's it. I mean, with that and with doing the whole American airborne landings and then down to St. Lo as well. I mean, there is literally years worth of material there, and as Mike said, every game is potentially different. So, yeah, just huge amounts of gaming potential. Love it to bits. So there we go. 3 very different top 5s.
Yeah,
that's probably the most different we've been, I think.
So, amongst those, any other honourable mentions?
Plenty.
Go on then.
As previously mentioned, Full Thrust. It may be however old it is now, but it's still a very, very nice space combat system. And I'm looking forward to a bit more of a play with it this year, coming up. Other honourable mentions, Frostgrave.
Frostgrave, yes.
Which I was sure one of you guys was going to have in your top 5. The only reason I haven't is I haven't played it yet. We've had a campaign, the published campaign going around the club for the last 3 or 4 months, with typically 9-10 people every night, and people seem to be really enjoying it. So at some point, when I have nothing better to do and nothing left to paint, which may never happen, it's on my list of things to produce a small force for. As is Kings of War.
Yeah, but you got more than a small force than that, don't
you? I have an elven mega army plus some extra bits from Mr. Douglas. So that will keep me out of mischief for a while. Other 2 honourable mentions, 3. Iron Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which did not get a chance to play due to various annoying health issues and things like running a wargame show. But I really do want to have a crack at that this coming year. And Dungeon Saga, and the other board game that is really lovely and I can't wait to have a proper game of is Dead of Winter, which is backed, I'm afraid, to Everything is Better with Zombies. It's a zombie horror survival game. But it's, at least in theory, it's supposed to be players against the game with the option of a traitor. And I strongly recommend anybody for whom that even remotely strikes a chord, go and find the episode of Will Wheaton's Tabletop where they play it, and you will see just what a stunningly good game it is.
Ooh, I think that must be in season 3.
It's a season 3 review.
I haven't seen season 3.
I won't spoiler it other than to say that there's a random chance for traitor because you have N+1 individual goals plus the team goal, and one of those is a traitor. So there's a small possibility that if you get N players, nobody gets the traitor. But it doesn't half make for paranoia and really hard decisions. Some of the event cards come up with basically, well, we could survive this better if we shot one of the NPCs. Do we want to do that?
like it.
It's a really looks a really gripping game, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I have a copy sitting here that we just haven't had time to play, and I really think it should be brilliant.
Sounds good. How about you, Mr. Hobbs?
Well, we've mentioned To the Strongest already, and Halo Fleet Battles. Other ones, obviously, Chain of Command, which always seems to sort of sit in my honourable mentions because I don't tend to play it that much. Because I've had a couple of years of sci-fi and fantasy, but I had the great World War One game down at the Lardy's Day in Evesham. I just fell back in love with the game. It's just a fantastic game. And the other one is Firestorm Armada, which I have been playing quite a lot of. But I just
and losing quite a lot of, if I'm
losing massively, yeah. I just couldn't fit it in because I didn't want to take any of the other 5 out of my top 5, so it had to sort of drop out. But a nice spaceship battle game. It's only a dozen ships, so it's a much smaller game than Halo. It's a lot more attritional, and it's another one of the Spartan games. It just pushes you tactically to get it right. There's so many things that you can do. So it's one of those where you almost need to pick a fleet and just play it for about a dozen times till you get it right, and then tweak it a bit. It's one of those sort of games, and we played an awful lot on the club, and really enjoyed it, even though I keep losing.
Well, as I said with Chain of Command, yeah, it's sort of a good game that you keep losing, but you still come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honourable mentions, several that have already been mentioned. I'll pick up on a couple that haven't. Blucher, which...
I forgot about Blucher.
I've just been... I've been meaning to get... it's one of those games that I've been meaning to get to the table and meaning to get to the table and meaning to get to the table, and they keep going, what about this Napoleonic game you keep banging on about?
So in fact, let's face it, the theme of this show is so many games, so little time.
Yeah, exactly. There's that. And funny enough, on that similar theme, so many games, so little time, Guild Ball. I have seen so much good stuff and so many lovely painted models for Guild Ball over because Guild Ball, well, it was effectively released at the UK Games Expo just before. It is a beautifully produced set of rules, got a fantastic model range, and I've just not had a chance to do anything with it at all. It is a great looking game. I know that if I mention about playing it, a certain other person will go, well, we've got a sports game, we've got Dribble. What do you want another one for? It is on, again, a game that is on my list to at least give it a couple of goes, because it looks a really good game, and it is getting so much good press. There's so many people liking it out there that... No, got to give it a go. One last thing, and this is a game that just didn't quite make my list, although we have played it. It's a board game, Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds board game. Oh, it's superb, absolutely superb game. It's produced by Matt Leacock, who's the guy that did things like Forbidden Island, Pandemic. Is probably the thing he's most well known for. A similar sort of thing, that basically everything goes wrong and everybody's got to try and fix it before. So
it's another of his collaborative games, is it?
It's another collaborative game, which you probably expect with it being Thunderbirds, but it is brilliant. It is really well done, really well implemented, fantastic looking models. You got brilliant little plastic Thunderbirds and little sculpts of all the different characters, and they really do look like the characters. They're not just kind of like plastic blobby bits. They are really well done, and it's a tremendously fun game. And the first time we played it on easy and lost horribly. It's one of those games. Second time we won, just about. But no, it is. No, it's a typical cooperative board game. My Dave's opinion one is he's probably the best cooperative board game that he's played. So it's great. And a mate of mine at work bought it. He jumped on the Kickstarter and bought everything for it. I kind of let him do it because I kind of went, oh, well, the proviso is, who are you going to play it with? And he looked at me and went, oh, you. So, brilliant. Okay, go ahead. It's really good game. Thunderbirds, really well worth getting. I can't remember if it's actually out for like standard retail now, because it was produced for the 50th anniversary, and it's well worth getting hold of. It's brilliant, really good fun. Right, so that's been the good bits of 2015. Yeah, go on. Okay, we'll do. Before we get on to, bringing the tone down a little bit, we'll do the one thing that we kind of hadn't planned until, which is, what was our best wargaming experience of 2015, or the thing that satisfied us most about our gaming in 2015. So, Mr. Whitaker, have you thought about it?
Oh, yeah. Definitely not screwing up the Wargames show. Anybody who's ever run one will know what it's like the night before. You're sitting thinking, is this going to work or not? And I'm very happy to say it did, and that we're doing it again next year. And it was quite the experience. We learnt a lot, and we'll do better next year. But it was still good.
I loved it. Great
it
day
was
out.
Great. It was. Yeah. It was a good show. It was.
You'll both get your fivers later. Okay.
I'm not saying that because you put it on. It was a good game. It was a good game. It was a good show. It was a good place. Nice and airy. Lots of good people there. I had a ball. I would. I'm quite happy to travel over again next year.
Good. Thank you.
Mind you, I have booked a hotel, so I have to go.
What, already?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he booked it before he left. The trouble is, he won't get his deposit back now, so he's got to go.
Yeah.
The problem is, he booked it in November.
September the 4th, folks.
No, great job, mate. Great job. Really, really good show, and yes, looking forward to part 2.
Part 2, you say?
Something like that. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Right. How about you, Mr. Hobbs?
Best gaming experience, head and shoulders above anything else I've done this year, is the Lardy's Day at Evesham, on Market Larden.
Gutted I missed that.
I am so gutted I missed that.
It was just fantastic. Deacon, head organizer, he just put on a good day, and great. There were some fantastic games there. Aid put on a little Gallipoli game that we sort of threw together about a fortnight before.
Because someone dropped out. Oh wait, that was me.
No, I think it was.
No, it was me.
Was it? Oh right.
Fundamentally, it was because at that point I had the eye infection really bad, couldn't see the paint, was never going to finish the thing I'd promised, and my lift dropped out, so I had no way of getting there either.
Ah, right. But yeah, he put on this Gallipoli game. He sort of mentioned it, and then said, "Oh, I can't do it because I haven't got figures." I went, "I've got a couple of 100 figures here."
So I haven't got the figure. I've got a couple of figures. I've got a couple of 100 figures.
Yeah, literally. And I just drove over there, gave it to him, and he put on a brilliant game. And there was just some great games there. And the curry night afterwards was one of the most fun curries I've ever had. And I got remarkably drunk and made a remarkable fool of myself and upset. I upset most of the town of Evesham with my drunken antics. and I don't
shock me, sir.
and I don't care. And yeah, so brilliant. So thank you, Aid. Thank you to all of the Wyvern Wargamers.
And I will try and get there next year.
And I will be there next year, and I will be on better behaviour.
Yeah, hang on. Yes, you'll be there next year. Best behaviour, not a hope. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going this year. I am. Yes, it's on my list of things to get back into next year, because I missed it because of, I don't know, American football and stuff like that last year. But yes, definitely going.
Yeah, great. Probably the best one I've been there.
Yeah. At this point, I'm kind of going. Can I have two or three?
Nope.
It's your show.
Despite the great times I've had out being invited to a couple of different Lordy days and various other bits and pieces, it has to be said, I think the most satisfying thing that I've done this year is getting the Meeples bunker set up. And for those of you who aren't in the know, the Meeples bunker is in fact the downstairs lounge of Dave Luff's house, which he converted into a games room, and we have spent several months, basically making scenery, so we can play lots of games of Chain of Command, amongst other things. But that has just been the most brilliant experience getting that sorted this year, and being able to get out, and it's just so great to go up, get a game set up, and knowing that even if you end up at a case of, like, I'm sorry, we can't get any further, we can just leave it out and then pick it up the following week. It's just been brilliant. So a very kind of I suppose selfish best game experience, but it's been brilliant setting that up. And I've really enjoyed all the things about making scenery from scratch and picking up ideas from all over the place and what have you, and doing various bits and pieces. It's been absolutely brilliant. Enjoyed every single minute of it. And I'm going to sneak a second one in. I painted an army.
No. You started.
Hey, come on! It's a completely usable force. I'll have you know.
Yeah, but it's a chain of command force. You'll be adding reinforcements to it. Little cows come home.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a load on my desk at the moment, which are even partly painted. Even now, oh my word, I've got this painting bug. But no, I actually say a couple of days ago. As we were recording this, I think it was Monday. I actually finished painting all my German infantry platoon and support, and I put a blog update on it. And especially when I sat back and worked it out, that's actually the first miniatures, rather than buildings and stuff. That's the first figures I've actually finished painting for 3.5 years.
True.
Because the last thing I painted was my Norman warband. Remember for that it's a Wyvern Wargamers, that Wyvern Wargamers Saga event that we did.
Yeah,
we went down to. I just about finished painting my Norman warband for that, and that was the last figures I painted. So that was that was 2012. So I must admit I am quietly pleased. No, actually, not quietly pleased. I'm not quiet about it at all. No, it's been brilliant. So got my painting mojo back. Thanks to everybody for all the encouragement and kind words, and it's been brilliant. So those two things have been my highlights of this year. Okay, so let's bring things down a bit, shall we? So we've talked about our best games, our best experiences, but what didn't quite get there? What was what was the biggest disappointment or letdown for us in 2015? Go on then, who wants to leap in?
Shall I?
Go on then.
The Other Partisan. And I think
Go on.
it's not really. I mean, before anybody who's responsible for the running of that show jumps up and down and says, "You rat fake, you can't say that after you run a war game show." Not your fault. I think it's the venue. I think Callum Hall is basically out the from the fact that every show that was there has now moved away. Callum Hall has pretty much outlived its usefulness as a venue. It's too dark. The disabled access was dreadful. The Wi-Fi for those poor, the 3G access for those poor sods trying to run mobile payment platforms. I mean, I was shunted out the door by somebody to try and get some signal for pay by credit card, and then shunted back in again by a security guard who said we weren't allowed to go out the security exit. It just was. I can see why they moved, basically.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's a shame. There's things about it's a brilliantly atmospheric venue. We've had some fun times there. We've put on some games that just look right in the environment, but I don't know. Somehow it's just got meh. I haven't got a better word to describe it than that. Just meh.
I think ever since it changed ownership, and it was just apparent that there have been issues.
They have,
it has, I mean, fair play to the guys at Newark for turning around and going, fine, okay, we'll go elsewhere.
Yeah, I think they made the right call.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Partisan next year.
Because let's face it, Hammerhead's had that venue, and it's been stunning.
Yeah,
particularly the hall they had this year.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing about the Hammerhead venue is they make great tea. you have no. Oh, come on! You guys don't normally do show games. You have no idea how much welcome that is after you've just spent half an hour schlepping in stuff and another half an hour building the table, having got up at 7:30.
No, it's just the fact I don't drink tea.
That's your problem. Well, that's me.
That's you.
Oh, and honourable to mention to Games Workshop for shooting themselves in the foot with Age of Sigmar, but that's another story.
What's the phrase? Passing quickly on. Before we derail ourselves completely.
We've been threatening to do that for a while, you know.
Yeah,
we have. I just don't think we should. I just don't think we should go there. And yeah, no.
no,
I'm not. No, no. It's. I just found it very. I've just found. I don't. Well, there's. Funny enough, we now have a guy in my office who plays Games Workshop stuff, or at least keeps more in contact with Games Workshop stuff, which is quite interesting. So hearing various little snippets of what's going on, and especially snippets of things like the latest thing they're saying to the shareholders and various other bits and pieces. I mean, on the plus side, it was good news to hear that they're bringing, or interesting news to hear that they're bringing specialist games back. But what's the phrase? Watch this space. We'll see what they do with it.
yeah.
Just one observation. Have you seen what it's done to the resale value of Warhammer Fantasy miniatures?
No.
Well, ask Ruben from PE2 Collectibles.
Oh, okay.
Not good.
Right, biggest disappointment or worst game of the year from Mr. Hobbs.
I got two.
You got two. Ooh.
Yeah, I got a big disappointment, and I got worst game of the year.
Right, go on then.
Biggest disappointment has happened over the last couple of weeks, and that's Architects of War. Shall we say disappearing?
Is that all kind of now official, or is it still a case of everybody's kind of it's kind of going, oh, where are they?
It's semi-official.
Right, okay.
No, it is. I think it's come out now. I mean, Architects of War are a big US distributor. They're also parts. Well, their other company is Alien Dungeon.
Alien Dungeon.
Quiet on the Martian Front.
Quiet on the Martian Front. That kickstarted you back really heavily.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And they've folded, and it's sad because I mean we've seen small traders go under. We've seen small manufacturers go under. But they were quite a big distributor in the US. And I know the US have different sort of rules when it comes to distribution, whereas they don't tend to distribute anything. They just tend to buy it in as cheaply as possible and sell it themselves. But they were, a pretty big distributor, and they've gone under.
So quite scary, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And
basically, every page on their site is now going to a work in progress. We're making every effort to recreate the best shopping experience for you. Please visit us again soon.
Yeah, so they've taken the site offline. The forum's been taken down. Some of the Facebook pages are gone. They're not answering the telephone. I know that there's companies in the UK who supply them who are out of money. Some quite severe amount. And this is the thing, it's the knock-on effect. When you get a distributor going under, all those manufacturers who supply that distributor are going to start losing money because they've gone under. And then on the other side, you've got all the people who were buying stuff off them, the day before they went under when they were doing this 40% sale.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Why does this sound familiar?
They started doing like flash sales and fire sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dare I raise the spectre of Maelstrom Games?
As I said, doesn't this sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very sad. I mean, all right, for the Kickstarter backers, I've lost the stuff I haven't got that wasn't a stretch goal. I'm probably down by about $100. But it's $100 I spent 3.5 years ago or so when I backed a bloody Kickstarter. So it's not a big thing for me. But the people who are working there, they're out of jobs.
That's it.
And the company's folded. God knows what's going to happen to the people who are running there.
But fire sales are never a good sign like that.
No, especially before Christmas.
Particularly if what you're doing is trying to convert stock into cash because you haven't got any cash.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is exactly what happened to Maelstrom.
Yeah, and I must admit, it was a bit of a shock because they've only just moved premises. They moved to a new state 2-3 months ago. So they moved to bigger premises, and they were showing pictures of them sort of making up stock ready for the Kickstarter and all this sort of stuff, and then bang, just go. So it's very sad. So that's my downer. Worst game of the year will be a bit of a shock. Star Wars Armada.
You're picking a Star Wars game as the worst game of the year.
I knew you got rid of that box for a reason.
It's a good game, Matt. No. And it's not that it's a bad game. It's just that Halo was so much better. When you look at the Star Wars movies, obviously the 3 Star Wars movies, because there was only ever 3 made. Actually, 4 now.
There's 4 made.
4 now. Yeah. 4 now, yeah. When you look at those climactic battles and what you were saying about before we came on, and we were chatting about Star Wars, people, and we were chatting about
Return of the Teddy.
Return of the Jedi, yeah. That massive fleet battle. That's what I wanted from a Star Wars game. But Star Wars Armada gave us a fleet game which had 3 or 4 big ships and a bunch of fighters, and it just didn't feel. It was too. It's too complex. It's too much of the Fantasy Flight games having card upon card upon cards of different things to remember. It just didn't work for me. And I played Halo, and Halo felt like a big space battle where you got ships exploding all over the place and lots of things going on. Fighting on different levels. From the fighter screens to the small frigates up to the big battleships and all of that. And they, Spartan just nailed it. And to me, they just wiped the floor with Star Wars Armada. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my worst game of the year.
Right, what a shocker.
And
So,
discuss.
And discuss. Well, we might come on to that. Biggest disappointment, worst game of the year for me. And this is terrible because somebody bought it me as a present. and yeah,
It's Heroes of Normandy, isn't it?
it's Heroes of Normandy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I really, really, really want to like this game. It's really, I mean, it's the artwork is fantastic. It's been beautifully produced, and every time we put it out on the table, we've just found it frustrating. And well, you can imagine the conversation that I've had with Mr. Luff, which basically goes along the lines of why we're playing this when we could be playing Chain of Command. And therein, I think, lies a lot of the rub. If you weren't into miniatures gaming, and the only way you were going to play Tactical World War II is to play Heroes of Normandy. Oh yeah, especially with the revised rulebook, by the way. Get the revised rulebook, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Then fine. You know, and it you know, it's in there. It scratches an itch. However, there is no getting away from the fact that, you know, it's a board game of platoon World War II combat. Personally, artwork aside, I think Conflict of Heroes does it better from a game mechanics point of view. But from a gaming experience, especially when you start talking about, and all the things that came out beforehand to say, well, yeah, it's effectively 15mm scale in this and the other. Yeah, the times we played it, we have kind of sat there, yeah, because obviously, because the other thing is you turn around and go, oh, fine, okay, one of the reasons why you play is that because the amount of time it takes to set up and play a figure game, you know, you can get it out on the table and various other bits and pieces. You know, we found ourselves in a position where, you know, it can take us just as long as if we're setting up a game of Chain of Command, and we don't enjoy it as much. You know, so that's been, you know, I desperately want to like this game. I really, really do, because I think it's lovely, and it's lovely and pretty, and yeah, they've done such a good job with they've done such a good job with everything. I just can't get on with it. You know, and to a certain extent, that's my biggest disappointment. That is the biggest disappointment. The biggest disappointment is the fact that I'm struggling to play it. I want to like it so much, and I'm just not getting it. You know, it's one of these things I'm thinking about. Yeah, I'm sure that if I persevere with this just a little bit more, everything will click together, and all of a sudden we'll kind of go, oh yeah, great. And it will all just come good. And it will all.
To be fair, I felt that way about Black Powder for a long time. It never clicked until I actually played it regularly enough that I wasn't basically climbing the learning curve every game.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that is it. But you know, as I say, at the moment, yes, the reason it's where it is not only because it's the biggest disappointment simply because I really want to like it. Right, so that was 2015. So looking forward to 2016. What are we looking forward to in 2016, guys?
Conan.
Conan.
Conan. Conan. Yes, I'm so looking forward to Conan.
I hope it's going to be good. After everything they've been teasing us with, I hope it's going to be good.
Well, the mechanics look really good.
The figures look amazing.
Yeah. Do you see that picture? They put a couple of pieces on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Of all the models?
Yeah, it was like there was lots of them.
Yeah, it was basically a floor full, wasn't it? It was like a big conveyor belt and kind of ooh. And,
yeah.
Yeah, they've also just popped up a couple of figures of some of the alternative Conan and Baelitz sculpts, and they look rather pretty as well.
Yeah. I'm so looking forward to it. I think it'd be great. Really do.
Yeah, when are we getting it then? Is it
God knows, but yeah.
Is it like middle of 2016 now?
Well, they're still saying Q1 for the first wave of stuff.
Can't be as long as Kingdom Death.
Well, at least you got it in the end.
3 years, wasn't it?
3 years later, yes, indeed. But at least you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So, what about you two? What were you looking forward to?
Painting some figures for a change. Being able to paint some figures, which comes with the immediate follow-up of actually playing some Kings of War, and actually playing some of the Sharp Practice War of the Roses variant.
I do want to have a go at that. That did sound quite intriguing. I mean, I must admit, from a gaming point of view, I can't see much beyond playing Chain of Command next year. I do want to get finish painting my Germans and try and paint some Americans because if you remember back in the early part of 2015, I was writing in Miniature War Games about doing the Pont de la Croix scenario from Operation Warboard. That's still on my radar. That basically, we built the board. We now have the board for it. I just need to paint some Americans. But I've got
how many?
It's only a platoon. Platoon, 3 tanks, and 3 jeeps. So yeah, not a lot. I need to paint just a couple of bits, couple of bits more German stuff. I need a Panther, which is fine. Not a major issue. So it's I think primarily on the cards is lots of World War II. So that's a big thing. Next year it's painting Germans. I've got a Fallschirmjäger platoon to paint. I've got an SS platoon to paint. And I want to do them because I've done late war here, but I've just done them as in straight field grey. I want to do Fallschirmjäger in Splinter camo, and then do SS in Oakleaf.
Ouch.
Yeah. Although interestingly, I saw some Flames of War actually have some very good painting guides for doing that. In
they do.
Mil. That is one thing. Yeah, they do some very, very good and interesting painting guides for doing that. And I'm kind of thinking, oh yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, looking forward to doing lots of painting next year. Games
you know that.
Go on.
They've brought out the Colours of War book now, which has all of their painting guides, or at least pretty decent painting guides for everything in one hardback book, which I have, and it's rather nice.
Oh, this is what for Flames of War?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I must admit,
it's brought out at the time with their new painting range.
Yeah.
Paints range, but it does have painting guides for most of the uniforms you're likely to need in World War II.
I mean,
available as PDF.
Yeah. Oh, it's also available as PDF. Oh, I might be tempted.
Yes.
I might be tempted
So?
by PDF.
I think.
Yeah, I must admit, there are a lot of very good online painting guides, and I've got loads of Ospreys and various other bits and pieces. So it's not as if it's stuff I don't know. Obviously, it's just doing it in 15mm as opposed to 28 or 40.
It's just a technique, and I think with that sort of camo, you can do a lot with stippling.
Yeah.
Paint your base colour on and get an old stipple brush and just stipple on the black, and then very lightly stipple on the lighter colour, and that's it. That's all you need. Because this camo, it's meant to sort of blend in together. That's my excuse for camo.
And let's face it, on a 15mm figure, there's a finite limit as to how much detail you can get in.
Very much.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. It's a very. I mean, from what I've seen, the stuff they've recommended, it's a very kind of almost impressionist sort of style. It's a case of, again, it gives the impression of the camouflage. So you can see from the model what they're meant to be wearing. But let's face it, painting any form of camo on a small scale figure essentially makes it look a bit of a mess. So it's kind of an impression, but that's primarily what I'm looking forward to. Shot Practice 2.
Oh yeah,
Shot Practice 2, which we played a game of at Hereward.
We did,
and was most enjoyable.
It
was most enjoyable. So yeah, looking forward to seeing that, and might possibly get round to. Well, no, I'm not going to commit myself because I'd like to play it and get round to make a force for it, but in all honesty, I can't see it. I can't see us playing much more than. I can't see us. I think we're going to struggle to play much more than Chain of Command next year, to be honest. Be able to try and prize anything else off the table. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Shot Practice 2. That was good. I'm
going to use my old Slaughterloo figures for it, just to upset all the Nippon League players down our club.
They look good though.
Oh, they look fantastic. Yeah.
Say they look good. It's when they're going to go. Hang on a second. What's that again? No.
Yes.
Yeah, and looking forward to and the one thing is looking forward to actually kind of getting out and about a bit more. There were so many things I had to cancel last year, primarily because I was doing too much and just had too many commitments, and I've desperately tried to cut down on that a bit this year. So I should be in a position where I'm out about a bit more and be able to see people a bit more. So looking forward to that, and hopefully. Well, we discussed at Christmas maybe even getting over to Peterborough on a bit more of a regular basis, and certainly getting down to Wales a bit more. So that's on the plans for the year.
Well, there is a possible trip down to Wales in May.
Yes,
first weekend of May.
Yes, for Lardiff.
You guys can both come down for Lardiff. Yeah,
Lardiff, indeed, Lardiff.
I don't know if it's been officially announced yet. Oh well, it has now.
We're certainly talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing a Lardy's Day in Cardiff.
Cool.
I can't wait. Yeah.
When's that?
May the 6th, I think. Off the top of my head, 6th or 7th.
Bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, it'll be May.
No, it's the weekend after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yes, okay.
Yeah, because May the 1st is on Sunday, so this will be. It's the 7th, May the 7th.
Right. So it's a weekend after May Day bank holiday.
Yeah. So we got Rich and the boys are coming down. We're going to have some demos of Chain of Command and Iron Bean Shotman and Sharp Practice 2. And then we're going to have a whole load of participation games similar to what we're doing at Evesham. Cool. And, so A. Deacon is organising all those participation games, but they're all going to be free. We've done a deal with Firestorm.
Cool.
So we're going to have some tables there and just basically play games and then possibly go into Cardiff for a curry.
Sounds good to me. Yes.
What could go wrong?
There is a possibility. Since I discussed it with Aid, that actually one of the participation games I might actually be running.
Good grief.
Or me and Mr. Luff might be running, depending. So yes, that's kind of on the cards, sort of thing. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yes. So yeah, hopefully out and about a lot more in 2016.
Yeah, I think for me, for 2016, I want to get back more into World War II. I've had a couple of years now doing lots of fantasy and sci-fi, and the call of World War II is calling me in a calling sort of way.
Oh yes, of course you want. You want to do Ardennes, don't you?
No, I want to do later than that. I want to do sort of late war in 28mm. So okay. I've got some 28mm already. I got Fallschirmjägers and I got lots of Americans. which do sort of Normandy time.
And some Germans when that nice Mr. Shuck gives you them back.
No,
Yeah, wrong scale.
These are 28s.
No,
right.
No,
Yeah.
Didn't you hear early in the show? 15 mil or so. So last year.
Oh, that's true. They are, aren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing that in 28. So I'm going to get some.
Just paint the bloody army out of date.
I'm going to pick up a platoon of Germans in greatcoats from Artisan, because Stu from Great Escape Games can get those. So I get a platoon of those, and just do Stugs and Panzer IVs and Marders for the Germans. So real sort of, on their asses sort of platoons, not no
still
big
running in the motor pool kind.
Yeah, literally. So around about the sort of crossing of the Rhine.
You need a Hetzer then.
Area. Oh yeah,
you need a Hetzer.
Oh yeah. That's what's going to be Hetzers and Panther turrets in concrete and things like that. Mm-hmm. So none of the great big German super tanks. I really want to do what they were actually using, because they had very little left at that period of time.
Improvised SPGs on whatever chassis you could get your hands on and fit a Pack 42, basically.
Yeah, so that's going to be one little project. The other one that me and my mate Mark have been talking about is doing very early war in 20mm. Because we both like 20mm.
Right.
And I've got lots and lots of 20mm. And
you've got lots and lots of 20mm, but have you got any early war 20mm?
I've got no early war 20mm.
Well, you know where to go for that.
You got lots and lots of stuff, but we're not going to use any of that. We're going to go something completely new.
I foresee you paying a visit to early war miniatures then.
Well, funny enough, I found them the other day, and I was just like, these are pretty nice.
Yeah.
And there's another firm somebody pointed me to, which is Battlefield Miniatures, and they do a Blitz range, and they're fantastic. Yeah. So
at least
I think
PWM now have a show presence, because Ruben from PE2 Collectibles has started stocking them, so they'll
cool.
be there at every show he goes to.
Yeah, so that'll be good. I think I'm doing the Germans again for that. So lots of Panzer IIs, Panzer Is, Marders again.
Yes. Yes. Early Marders. 35 Ts, 38 Ts. Yes.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
And my mate Mark wants to do possibly Belgians or Poles.
Oh right, okay.
So literally, really, really early stuff.
Yeah.
Like literally the first couple of days of the war, I think it's going to be.
That's early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought my home guard were early.
No, well, we had a really good game at the Lively Day in St Albans this year with guys from Holland who actually did a scenario based on a Fallschirmjäger attack on a Dutch airfield, which was really interesting. Game very early war. That was really good, and okay, I lost, but it was good fun. But that was funny enough, that was in 20mm. Yeah, that was a really nice. That was a really nice game. Dick Backs, hello Dick. Great game.
Well, 20mm is one of the odd scales. It's probably the first one I played in World War II, because there wasn't much else around.
It's probably the first one a lot of us played in World War II.
Well, certainly, yeah. Well,
it's Airfix.
I was going to say it's Airfix. It's the first scale I played in World War II.
Yeah.
Before this newfangled 15mm range came along and usurped it.
In fact, I would lay you good odds that if you were to go through our podcast archive and pick up everybody's little story of how I started wargaming, the words Airfix and 20mm would feature large.
Indeed.
Yeah. Probably not with me, because I didn't really play with Airfix that much. I was a Napoleonic.
Strange.
Yeah, I was a bit strange, I'm sorry. But when I got into World War II, which was probably 95, just after I got out of Epic, I got into World War II. And first of all, it was 10mm, because they're playing it on the club. And then it was 20mm, and I just preferred 20mm. and playing Rapid Fire and games like that.
Yeah.
And I've kept all my old
Rapid Fire.
20mm stuff. So I've dug it out. I got loads of it. I really have got a shed load of 20mm stuff.
You got a shed loads of 20mm stuff, but you're still having to buy more because you haven't got the stuff that you want to play. You're such a war
It's always nice to have a little. It's always nice to have a little project.
You're such a war gamer. Oh.
Yes.
Just one little project.
Yeah. Well, 2 little projects. But the late war 28mm stuff is going to be. I'm not going to go mad on that. That's just going to be a few tanks and a platoon. I can use the Americans I've got anyway for late war anyway, so that'll do for 44, 45.
So are you going to do that cavalry sort of thing that we were chatting about, or for like crossing the Rhine and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it's going to be sort of the crossing the Rhine and pushing into Germany.
Right. Okay.
So it's going to be sort of February, March 45.
Yeah.
That sort of period. But Germans in greatcoats, they can just be used for anything. I can use them in Normandy as sort of secondary troops anyway.
Almost at the point where you only need Chaffies and Pershings. Well,
I have got a Chaffee because Neil gained one years ago.
Yeah. Yes, I remember that. Yes, you do have a Chaffee.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't have Pershings because the Germans will need the Pershings.
That is true.
That just did fall on dead air. That did. Mark's on the going.
Sorry,
what?
I was just coughing.
Mr. Whitaker,
yeah.
Robert Shaw, Battle of the Bulge. Come on, get with the programme.
Sorry.
Don't you remember? Battle of the Bulge, it was Chaffies versus Pershings. Except they just painted the Pershings grey.
Yeah, as opposed to the one that comes up and takes the bridge in A Bridge Too Far, which is a pattern.
No, it's not. It's a leopard.
It's a leopard Mark 1.
It's a Mark 1 leopard. No, it's a Mark 1. It's a Mark 1 leopard with a body kit. Not a very good body kit, but...
What? Spoilers! Oh, sorry, not my kind of body kit.
And then, like, the Tigers in Kelly's Heroes, which were T-34s?
It was T-34 suspension, wasn't it? Yeah.
You'd have thought they might at least have made them Panthers, but at least they look something like.
Let's step away from this while we're ahead, shall we?
Yeah.
Yes. So a couple of small little World War II projects then. Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I think it's time to get back in World War II. And it's some great games. We've got Chain of Command, obviously. And obviously, Great Escape games are based in Firestorm, so lots of Iron Cross will be played. My mate Mark is really wants to play that, so I can see that sort of being used. So yeah, all good stuff.
Cool.
And have I mentioned Conan yet?
Yes.
Yes, just a little bit. Yes, but as I say, we're just going to have to wait for that. So, yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I suppose one of the things are plans for 2016. Podcast. We've been discussing a lot amongst ourselves about where we're going with the podcast, what we want to do, what extra bits we can do, and how we're going to do it. There's still a fair amount kind of in the melting pot as such, and still several things that we need to decide. Certain things, are we going to do them? Is this a good idea? Is this a way forward? But we are looking to change things around a little bit over the coming year. I think one thing that most of us found a bit of a frustration with is the fact that we have too much to talk about for the number of shows we have. Simply for the looking at what our show schedule is like, or getting towards already for 2016. there's just so much to talk about, and with the format of the show as it was, or as is at the moment, sometimes we perhaps just don't have enough time to fit everything in that we want to. So we're looking at changing the show format just slightly. Nothing major. It's going to be, I think it's going to be more of a case of we're going to break it down so it's a little bit more modular. Now that may mean that rather than having just one main subject in a show, we might actually have two. It may also mean that as a result of that, the shows might get slightly longer. So we might be. Admittedly, an awful lot of our shows these days are pushing 2.5 hours. We now might be pushing 2.5, plus, depending on what we're doing. But we're working on various different bits and pieces. Mr. Whitaker is working out some new jingles and various other bits and various stuff like that. And we're also looking at doing things like trying to get a bit more input from you, the listeners. Looking at regular letters pages, not letters pages, letter spots, email spots, or what have you, answering listener questions. We also want to have a roundtable discussion a bit more often so maybe once a quarter, maybe a bit more often. We're going to be looking at having a roundtable discussion on a subject, and maybe even get people involved in that. So again, some of these ideas are still kind of coming together, and how we work them technically and what have you. But that's some of the plans. Also, more board games. When we last talked to Mark, Mark was still keen to come on the show, so we are going to be discussing more board games, just so we can still say that we're Meeples and miniatures and not just miniatures. Well, it's not just for that, but we've got a few more board games we want to discuss and what have you. So we're going to do a more regular board game slot, maybe once every couple of months or so. We'll make sure that we do a board game show. So stuff like that in the pipeline. Now there's a few other bits and pieces that we're still discussing in the background, which we'll come on to. One of those, funny enough, is actually show funding. So watch this space as far as that's concerned. Other than that, I think it's onwards. We work, with what we. I think it's like what we're doing, but just maybe a bit more of it and a bit more diversity. I think, guys. So that's basically the plan, isn't it, guys? Something like that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's just to try and use up the time that we got, and maybe try and structure it a bit more so we waffle a bit less.
and Neil doesn't kill himself doing audio editing.
Although,
there is that, yes.
Although to be fair, the original plan was not to edit this show, and look where we are.
Shouldn't use Google Hangout.
You just got to glue the four parts together.
Well, and all the broken audio, like the bit I had then.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah,
it'll be fine, mate. It'll be fine.
Yeah. As I say, so as I say, the plan is to, to be fair, Mr. Whitaker would have us recording every day, every week. We need to do this. We need to do that.
I would not. Merely weekly.
Merely weekly. Yeah, been there, done that.
So those who want us to record weekly, you have to work out how much it costs Neil to give up his day job.
Or at least go to a 4-day week. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. No, yeah. No. I mean, we are kind of trying to share the workload around. I mean, one of the reasons for kind of splitting things out slightly is the fact that we potentially kind of move editing workload around a little bit and various other bits and pieces. But yeah, and also it's try and get the show structured slightly better, because it's always been a little bit disorganised, to say the least.
Yeah. It's part of our charm.
Oh, is that what you call it? Yeah. But to have and to have some fun sections where we can as well as launching mail, we can do things like we can do our grumpy old men impression and those other bits and pieces. There was a podcast called that.
Try, but every time I do my grumpy old man impression, you go moving swiftly on.
Yes, but now we'll have a 30-minute segment called the Grumpy Old Man section.
Yes.
Where you have free reign to rant for.
Mr. Hobbs, are you accusing Mr. Whitaker of being a grumpy old man?
No, I'm accusing all of us of being.
Yeah, fair dues. Yes. Guilty as charged, you wanna? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the plan. As I say, there's a couple of other things going on in the background. I did mention funding, and we are thinking about things like maybe Patreon. Don't know about that at the moment, to be perfectly honest. I think we need to sit down and have a really good chat about if we're going to go down the Patreon front, how we're going to do it, and what we can offer in various other bits and pieces, and whether it's worth doing.
Suggestions welcome.
Indeed. I know there's been a couple of guys who have been saying for a while, why don't you do Patreon? And I mean, it's there for shows like us, and
which does lead to the question: what would you guys want out of it?
Well, this is it, and there are.
Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, there have been several guys who this year have either with one-off donations or all regular donations have supported us throughout the year. And thank you to everybody who's done that. Thank you to our show sponsors, Miniature War Games and Two Fat Lardies. And as I say, the guys out there who've been giving either one-off amounts or regular support throughout the year, and that has been brilliant. Actually, and if people are wondering, so other than hosting costs, where's the money going? At the moment, we're just about to buy some new Mike kit, which I'm about to buy some stuff, and then obviously we'll get some stuff for the other people as well. So we'll just make sure that we're all on decent audio gear, which has been a bit of a problem from time to time this year. I know. So that's one thing. The other thing is, as you may have seen from my Twitter feed from a few months ago, the laptop I run Meeples off is very much on its last legs. So actually, one of the big things this year is to look at getting a new laptop. And we're also looking at things like all sorts of things to do with changing the way we're hosting the website and loads of other bits and pieces like that as well. But yeah, certainly at the moment we're looking at upgrading our audio gear and then looking to upgrade our technical hardware. So we're actually in a position where it's not on its last legs and things don't start falling apart, because we do have some technical issues. This show, for example, has been a bit of a nightmare in one way, shape, or form. Thank you, Skype and Storm Frank and various other bits and pieces, I think. But yeah, so that's where your money going, and plus the things like it helps us to do things like sorting, getting to shows and various other bits and pieces, covering stuff, and we want to have a look at doing a lot more. So the other question is, what do you want to see us do? Is there anything we're not doing at the moment that you want to see us do? We are always open to suggestions, so let us know. One thing I'd like to do is have like a Skype answer phone, so we can start having phone-ins. Rather than just email questions, you can ring you can ring in on voicemail with your listener questions and stuff like this. All various different bits and pieces like that. So lots of stuff we can do. It just depends on what the best priorities are and what you want to hear. So let us know.
Beautifully summed up, sir.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself.
No.
Right.
Having said that, having said that, things like the Hereward Show, we can do better sound for shows with better kit. We have, we can send kit out to regular interviewers, given some of them appear to have really dreadful kit.
Indeed.
Yes. I think we all upgraded a while ago to some fairly decent little USB desktop microphones. And I'm just going to step up from that, and I know Neil is going to step up from that, which gives us a couple of spare mics that. Yeah,
it's been So there's things say we can be doing and what have you, and I mean even what we did at Hereward, it would be great to do elsewhere. But so there's lots of bits and pieces kind of floating around and ideas. But let us know what you want to hear, because it's no good us putting stuff out that you don't want to hear. Thank you for all your feedback, and we want more of it. Please let us know.
Tell us what we do well. Tell us what we want to do. You want to see more of. Tell us what you want to see less of.
Indeed, very much so, and we'll tailor things accordingly. But one thing is that hopefully, certainly within the next few weeks or so, you'll start hearing some of the differences that we're making, and some of the changes. Because I mean, some of the bumpers and stuff are getting a bit tired, and what have you. So we're rehashing loads of stuff like that and various other bits and pieces. So watch this space, or listen to this. Listen to this space, as opposed to watch this space. But hopefully, lots more content next year. Having been on track with things this year, I think we've got a good chance of doing the same next year, and so hopefully we'll bring you a lot more good stuff. So, is that about it? I think, guys, are we about done for our show?
Yeah,
Hobbsy snuffling in the background. Yeah, well,
Hobbsy's done. Full stop.
Yeah, I'm definitely done now.
Done.
Can I go to bed now?
Indeed. Right. Okay. Well, all that's left to be said, everybody, is thank you for listening this year. We really, really appreciate it. We've had a bumpy year this year. We've had close to 96,000 downloads of the podcast this year, which is just staggering. So thank you to everybody for listening. I think also all that we said is Happy New Year.
Yeah.
What you said?
Indeed. Happy New Year.
Indeed. And I hope you have a really good 2016. Look forward to seeing as many of you as possible as we wander around the country. And you never know. As I say, let's see what happens as opposed to exactly where we get this year. It would be nice to go to Crisis, wouldn't it? He says just throwing that out there. Or maybe or Gen Con or something.
Else is driving. I have friends in Indiana.
Really?
They can work that one.
Well, hey. As I say, we'll see you around over the next year. Thank you once again for listening, and until next time, happy gaming.
Happy gaming.
And a happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Meeples and Miniatures podcast. If you want to know more about Meeples and Miniatures, there are several things you can do. First of all, you can visit the website at www.meeplesandminiatures.co.uk. If you want to contact the show at all, you can email me at neil@meeplesandminiatures.co.uk. You can follow the show on Twitter. Simply look for M&M Podcast, or click the follow us on Twitter button from the website. We also have a group on Facebook. That's the Meeples and Miniatures Podcast Fan Club. Again, follow the link from the website. And finally, If you want to help to support the show, you can always donate to the podcast by clicking the PayPal button on the donate page, again found on the website. Once again, thank you for listening. I hope you've really enjoyed the show. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.